The problem with you is you're whining like a little fucking baby.
What's going on, fam? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode of Ask Papa Swolio. Remember, if you want your question featured right here on the show, just drop your question in the comments down below with the hashtag AskPapaSwolio. And a reminder that if you want to catch the Ask Papa Swolio live every single week, every single Sunday inside Swolenormous X, go check out swolenormousx.com, because for members only, the episode where we do the Q&A is every Sunday and it's exclusively streamed for members. You also get access to weekly live accountability meetings, the private community on Facebook, and tons of awesome stuff inside Swole TV, custom playlists, all the things that you love here, Nuts on Chin Unplugged, Driving While Gaining Special Reserve, Balls Deep Overtime, Raw Series, Swole Motion Vlogs, a lot of stuff inside Swole TV, and you can get started for as little as $2.99. That's less than $3, less than the price of a peppermint mocha latte and all that good stuff. So every Sunday, live, Ask Papa Swolio live. Go check it out, swolenormousx.com. Links in the description down below to join and to get access to the live streams. Let's get into the first question of the day. Thank you so much for being here. And this one is from Moro Castro Moreno. Papa Swolio, I'm starting with yoga, but I don't have a mat. I'd like to know which one you recommend in terms of material and thickness. Thank you, Papa. Saludos desde Chile. What's going on, Moro? Thank you so much for the question. I recommend you use more of a stiffer mat. Now, some people like those thicker ones, but I tend to feel like it puts more pressure on the wrist, especially when you're starting, because you don't have that coordination and that neuromuscular activation of like pushing your fingertips into the ground, where when you do yoga, if you're digging into your like the butt of your hand, it's going to put a lot of pressure on your wrist. So my recommendation would be something of a more firm, thicker mattress, depending on, obviously you're in South America, so maybe you have access to Amazon. I don't really know what the shipping and what your purchase, like what's local around you, but that's generally my recommendation. And then if you need something for your knees, if you need a little more cushion, you could roll up a towel or roll up parts of the mat if that is something that you actually need. So good question. Thank you very much. Next question from Don McDonald. Papa Swolio, I am obese and recently started a journey to a healthier me. Good for you. My starting weight is at 5 foot 10 inches and I was 346. I've lost almost 50 pounds, putting me just under 300. My question is, why the hell am I sweating buckets while completing everyday tasks that never made me sweat prior to the weight loss? Could just be your metabolic rate. Maybe your body is building muscle and you are utilizing more calories, giving off more heat, which is a byproduct of the actual like cellular breakdown and creation of energy. It gives off heat. So your body has to cool itself off, maintain body temperature, so you'll sweat more, which is potentially one of the things. I mean, I sweat a lot. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you're hydrating enough, just keep in mind that when you're sweating, you're losing fluid. So make sure that you're hydrating properly and there shouldn't be any problems. If you're really concerned, you can go see your physician, your general practitioner, or whoever you see for professional medical advice. There's nothing really strange about sweating. I sweat like crazy and I'm healthy. So best wishes and congratulations on your weight loss so far. Question from Amber Dones. Papa Swolio, I absolutely love watching you and your mesmerizing beard. Ho, 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 fluff my pillow much? Best booty workouts, please. Currently doing weighted squats, hip thrusts, and on occasion weighted lunges. I don't like saying there's the best of anything. I think everything has good and bad depending on context and usage. Weighted squats are great, but they're not really a glute targeting exercise. That's a compound movement. So one of the things that people usually don't realize is how much is their glute actually firing. When you're doing weighted squats, when you're doing hip thrusts, when you're doing weighted lunges, are you activating your hamstrings? Are you doing more quad dominant in terms of your firing, your neuromuscular activation and your actual body? What's your intramuscular activity like? And that can be improved with slow and controlled movements and targeted isolation exercise for the glutes, like hip thrusts with very slow and controlled movements, making sure there's a lot of time under tension, unstable surfaces, some balance training. That's why yoga is excellent, because it really helps balance out the hip and activate the glutes. That way, when you're doing your strength training, it's a lot more effective. So if you're not practicing yoga, I recommend you start, and best wishes with training yo booty. Question from Driana Ruth. Papa Swolio, I just found you and must say I'm loving how you keep it real. Thank you so much. Too much sugar out there these days. Indeed. I know about calorie deficit, just wondering, should a person's calorie intake be reevaluated at any time? And the answer is yes. It depends on what you're trying to do. Whether you're trying to gain weight or lose weight, you should only really be in a slight surplus or a slight deficit, like 500 to 1,000 calories. It might sound like a lot, but it really isn't, because what you're trying to do with weight loss, you don't want to lose muscle, you want to lose fat. So weight loss is really a misnomer, because people usually don't want to lose muscle or bone density. You want to lose extra body weight, extra fat. So you want to decrease your intake so much that your body has what it needs for its lean mass, but it needs to take away from the extra for the activities of daily living, for when you're at rest, when you're sitting down, when you're sleeping, you're burning a high percentage of, and mostly fat. So you want your body to be looking elsewhere for energy, not from the excess calories you're consuming, because then your body is going to be more in a storage mode. So as you lose weight, you're not going to have to necessarily, you might come down to that maintenance level because your body's always trying to maintain, whereas you might want to, decrease it a little bit more. If you're gaining weight, you're trying to bulk up. Once, let's say you're eating 2,500 calories to bulk, eventually that won't be effective to bulk anymore. You might need to go to 3,000. So you definitely need to reevaluate. And that's why if you take general weight loss or weight gain every couple weeks, and you kind of see if you plateau and you're tracking your calories closely, you're doing everything, there's still, a plus or minus, there's room for error. There's no perfect system. It's a lot of observation, and most people aren't consistent enough to really take proper data, which is why there's a lot of confusion about whether or not, you should be counting calories and how to count calories, because it's not a perfect science. You have to add things and it's an approximation. So best of wishes. And yes, you should be adjusting depending on if you're hitting plateaus and what your goals are and what your actual nutrient needs are. Question from Kendra J. Papa Swolio, love the channel. Thanks for all the great content day after day. You're very, very welcome, Kendra. When it comes to lifting and hypertrophy training, how can I tell if I'm lifting enough weight to be effective with my sets? The last few reps are always difficult, but I usually finish generally 3 to 4 sets with 8 to 12 reps. Should I be lifting closer to my max and feeling more winded after each set? Winded is not really what you're looking for. You're not doing cardio, you're lifting weights. And I think most people, like inside Swolenormous X, a lot of hypertrophy, we have a minimum of 1 to 2 minutes of rest. Anytime you're really cutting down a lot of rest, you're going to have to cut down on intensity and the overload, and it becomes more of a cardiovascular workout and less of a strength training and hypertrophy workout. So the short rest concept is kind of like archaic. You should be resting until you're recovered. So 3, 4, maybe even 5 minutes, even for hypertrophy, because it's a component of strength. You want to create that overload. Now, people will talk about time under tension, and time under tension is great. You always have time under tension, but there's also that component of load. How much are you lifting? Just doing 5 pounds super, super slow is not going to build the same kind of resistance and the same kind of adaptation as doing 50 pounds a little bit faster. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be a lot bigger and more muscular by doing those types of reps and that type of volume with that overload, rather than just going after all over time under tension. So for me, I like training towards failure. I think training harder, higher intensity, and maybe less volume is better for the average person. So it depends on really how hard you're pushing. To be honest, a lot of people think they're training harder than they are. A lot of people think they're training closer to failure than they really are. It's very, very hard to push yourself to that point, which is why most people don't get a lot of results, because it's hard to really take off the governor and flip that switch in your brain that says, okay, this hurts, this is painful, but you're doing a lot more. It doesn't work out the same way for everyone, but that's a real honest opinion of mine. Most people just really don't have the ability to push past that threshold that will really stimulate optimal growth. Keep in mind, when you're increasing your volume, increasing your sets, you don't necessarily want to just keep on adding volume and volume and volume, because there's that point of diminishing return where you're just not going to be able to recover enough. But it could also come down to your actual nutrition too, if you're trying to build muscle. Okay. So that's a component: sleep, hydration. There's a lot of other things that go along with it. So I hope that helps. Question from Sarah Bacher. Papa Swolio, any tips on getting in protein without supplements? Can't seem to get enough in. You eat more, smaller meals more frequently. Depends on what kind of protein you're consuming. I don't know what you mean you can't seem to get enough in. Don't have any context. This is an example of a poorly asked question. I'm not saying you're an idiot, and I really want you to follow up with an actual more breakdown of this question, because how much are you consuming? What are you trying to do? What are you doing? How much are you trying to aim for? What's your body mass like? What's your training like? Maybe you're getting enough protein, you don't realize it. I don't take supplements. I don't take protein supplements. I take collagen, actually. I mean, it's a protein, but it's not like something that's anabolic. There's other benefits to taking collagen supplements. I drink bone broth, things like that, but I don't do whey protein. I have steak. I eat plenty of fucking protein, and I haven't seen the need for any more supplementation, really. So eat more. You're spending more time every week eating than you are training. If you train 7 days a week for an hour, you're still only training about 5% of your entire week. So nutrition's fucking important. That's a job. If you're trying to build muscle, it's fucking work. Question from Cassandra. Papa Swolio, what are the best shoes for the gym, particularly for deadlifts and squats? Again, best. People are going to have opinions. I wear my Vibram 5 fingers. I love them. I don't like sneakers in the gym anymore. I'm just so adapted. It's like wearing a fucking slipper. People make fun of me. Oh, you look like a ballerina. It's awesome. They're fucking great. So I like the classics. If you like the ones with the Velcro, that's fine. I like the most minimal possible. Barefoot. Some people do socks. I think that's kind of fucking weird. You're going to slip, but just I like a neutral position. I like doing stuff barefoot. I do yoga. I'm barefoot all the fucking time. If anything, if I wear shoes, I wear Zero shoes or Vivo barefoot, which are even better, even more barefoot. So I minimize like crazy. Question from Jonelle Duncan. Papa Swolio, I am on my second injury since starting resistance training. Ooh, I'm trying to get more serious about rest and recovery days. Good for you. How many times a week should I be doing yoga, foam rolling, etc.? Any other recommendations to avoid these muscle and joint injuries? Yeah, I mean, you need to get on a proper programming progression because even if you're very stiff or limited, you should be doing yoga already and activation exercise and stabilization. You can do yoga 2 or 3 times a week, but if you're brand new, you got to be careful because that's going to be fatiguing at first. You're using new muscles, you're moving in new ways, and foam rolling can be done every day, but you could get sore from the first few times because you're digging into your muscle tissue. It really depends on what you're doing, what's your daily activity like. Are you sedentary a lot? What actually is going on with your body? It's going to be a shameless plug because I have everything that you need. If you want to check out swolenormousx.com, click below in the links. You could also send us a live chat message on Facebook or send a message on the website with the live chat feature in the bottom right-hand corner. Send us an email if you want. If you have any questions about the programming, but we have over 50 live streaming yoga classes it's whenever you want, 24/7. We got mobility workouts, activation, stabilization, training, mobility, 7-minute mobility workouts in the Swollen 7 series. So we have a lot of stuff like that for you, but there's different ways to do it. There's smaller, more frequent. It depends on your experience, depends on what is actually getting hurt. So I don't have all the context with this question, but definitely focus on mobility more than strength training and make sure that you have professional guidance for whatever steps you take next. Question from Amy Muller. Papa Swolio, what's the deal with fasted cardio? Are there added benefits? I don't do a ton of cardio. I do 10 to 20 minutes of a warm up before I start lifting, before I start that's my general warm up, before I start my actual specific yoga flow or warm up sets. But no, like from my personal experience, and most people would agree, I do not recommend or see any kind of necessarily need or requirement for fasted cardio. If you're doing cardio and that's your thing, you might not want to eat a big meal an hour before, but I'll have a sweet potato when I'm going to the gym for lifting weights and I'll do 10, 15, 20 minutes in the step mill and I'm fine, but not everyone's the same. So these are the kind of details that people get hung up on and they lose the ability to take action and they focus on this kind of stuff more than actually executing. So focus more on doing the cardio more than like whether or not you're eating and figure out what works best for you. Well, thank you so much everyone for joining me for this episode of Ask Papa Swolio. Remember, if you want to be featured right here on the show, drop your question in the comments down below with the hashtag Ask Papa Swolio, and I'll get to them in an upcoming episode. And a reminder that the Ask Papa Swolio live sessions every single week are exclusively for Swolenormous X members, and you can get started for as little as $2.99. That's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, especially a peppermint spice, a pink drink, a peppermint mocha. All of that, it's less expensive. You could join and get access to the live accountability meetings every week, the Ask Papa Swolio Live, the private community, and all the private playlists and bonus content from YouTube and the exclusive vlogs and all that stuff inside Swole TV for the price of a fucking coffee. So if you're not joining, if you're not accessing the private live cast, the private Q&A, it's fucking great. The Swole fam is the best. If you're part of the Swole fam, drop that in the comments below. So I'll see everyone for the next Ask Papa Swolio Live, and I'll see all of you for the next video right here on the Swolenormous channel. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining. Pinch your nips, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Click the link, motherfucker! Click the link! Click the link! Watch another video, like and subscribe. I know you want to. You know you want to. Come on, everyone knows you want to. You love Papa Swolio. You love the man bun. You love the sick bugging gains. You love it. Oh, oh, oh. You love it. Oh, 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 oh.